UFC 322, early prelims. What really happened? Let's talk about it. First of all, real quick, I want to give a shout out to our first subscribers. That's amazing. I know we didn't make it to our 50 subscriber count in order to go live last night. So we're really hoping that through progress this week, we can boost our subscriber count up and then we can go live next week and really bring you the fights with good action. Man, I was super excited about this card, and I'd say it lived up to the hype. Let's get right into the early prelims and break everything down. I'll bring you another video with the prelims and the main card as well. The first fight of the night was Borshov against Camilo. It started off as a good competitive fight. I got my handy dandy notes here, so we're going to be able to break everything down. I spent a lot of time last night. My picks were so-so. I ended up with 8 wins and 6 losses, and I'll come through with a breakdown of all the picks that I did as well. But with Borshov and Camilo, this one went all 3 rounds. It was a decision. It was a split decision. I thought it was a little bit closer than the judges ended up giving it. Borshov had some nice work on the feet. He had like this long clubbing hook that was, it touched him a couple of times, but it really never landed home the way I think he wanted to. One of my notes says that Borshov, he has some bombs, but Camilo really controlled the whole fight. He had 2 easy takedowns in round 1. He gassed out a little bit in round 2 and kind of coasted. And then he basically had nothing in the tank round 3, but he had a little bit of a moment, got a takedown round 3, kind of the control. I think that's what got him the W in this case. Like I said, I thought it was a little closer than the judges ended up scoring it, but we ended up taking the L on that one because we picked Borshov. Camilo ends up coming with a decision victory. Moving right into the middleweight bout against Sursukayev against Mechanico. This one was really interesting. Coming into this fight, obviously it was one of those where Sursukayev ended up walking into the ring at a minus 1,200 favorite. So Mechanico, with that plus money, that's really attractive with everything that's been going on in the UFC recently. So Sursukayev comes out, and even during his walkout, he was super cocky coming out, just like a little bit nonchalant almost, to the point where he was like, I'm so much better than this guy that I'm going to dog walk him. And then he didn't really dog walk him. So, it's like if you are that much more elite than somebody, then to me, put him out in the first round, make it a highlight. Now, eventually, that's exactly what happened, right? Round 3, counter right, big bomb, right on the chin. He was waiting for that the whole fight, I think, and that's what it was. I think he just felt like he was much more elite on the feet. But Mechanico had some moments. He was really pushing the pace. He was pushing up against the fence. The first round was a lot of clinch work. I think Sursukayev was really just waiting for his moment to drop that big bomb on him and kind of put him to sleep. Luckily, he ended up doing it in the 3rd round, but overall, I was very unimpressed with his outing, mostly just because he was nonchalant most of the time. I did like the way that when he landed that bomb, he had one coming return, and he just kind of turned his whole body because he knew it was night time for Mechanico anyway. So awesome knockout. Definitely not knockout of the night, but very cool knockout nevertheless. Moving right into our next fight, we had Hill against Klein. And this was a scrappy fight. It started off in the round 1. I mean, the thing is with me, I know Klein was a little bit upset of her how she wasn't able to finish Angela Hill. Angela Hill's a beast. She's been in a million fights, first of all. And realistically, the size of them, they just weren't landing the shots that were capable of putting somebody's lights out. So Klein had all of the moments in the fight. Like I said, it was a really scrappy outing, but Klein really dominated most of the fight. There was a lot of punches thrown. I think the biggest contact or the biggest strike of the night was probably when Klein got her with a nice takedown and landed a clean elbow strike. But again, I was actually surprised that the way that strike landed, it didn't cut her. And in the moment, I was like, man, it's probably because they're straw weights and don't have a lot of power behind them, right? But nevertheless, Klein comes out with a phenomenal unanimous decision, 30-27 on all of the scorecards. Easy W for her over Angela Hill. And I really think that's going to be, she's 9-1 now. She's going to be climbing the rankings. It's a big win for her. Absolutely. Moving right into our next fight, we have Sabatini against Marischal. Now, the announcers were very high on Marischal. They had nothing but good things to say about him, but we know how well-rounded Sabatini is, and he proved it. His wrestling was on another level. He was able to control the pace of the entire fight, basically, except for one moment, right? He came out, he was moving laterally a lot. He timed a really nice takedown and ran round one, and then he was able to transition to the back. Marischal was very powerful, so he was able to kind of scramble a bit and try to get back to his feet. But Sabatini was working that old college mat return where he's hooking the leg and kind of tripping him back. That's the oldest mat return in the book when it comes to like college wrestling. So as far as Marischal's grappling goes, not the highest level. I mean, when it comes to some of these guys who are really good at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, their actual grappling acumen, as far as like mat returns and takedowns and things like that, is not as elite. And that's what we saw here with Sabatini. There was a couple of times there were some really nice scrambles, and Sabatini was able to maintain position basically throughout the fight. Now, I think I want to see where it was. I remember exactly how it happened, but Sabatini, I can't remember if it was the end of round one or the end of round two. No, it was the end of round one. Sabatini got a little bit lazy and kind of thought the round was over. And there was literally like a half a second left, and Marischal lands a beautiful head kick, cutting Sabatini in a really damaging way. I was a little bit worried that cut actually could cause the fight to end, but Sabatini dogged it out, man. That guy is tougher than nails. So props to Sabatini. My fellow Fight Frog companion, she made mention that Marischal was getting a little dirty with the fingers in the eyes after that cut, and I didn't notice it at first, but after the playback, that's how it is when we grappling. Not a lot of times you got to play by the rules. You got to get away with what you can get away with sometimes. I'm by no means condoning poking somebody's eyes, especially when they're cut. But, I've seen dirtier things happen. Let's be realistic. Anyway, Sabatini was basically able to control the entire fight. Very, very impressive. Unanimous decision, 30-27 on all of the judges' scorecards. He knocked it out of the park. He looks great. He's in great shape. He's a guy. So we got to keep our eye on Pat Sabatini because he's an absolute beast, and he clearly got that dog in him too. Moving into the final fight of the night when it comes to the early prelims, Daukaus against Meerschaert. Now, with my breakdown was that Daukaus was going to walk him because Meerschaert is a can. And what happened? He Mearsharded his pants. Dawkins dog walked him, rocked him super early, right into a submission. Darce choke, over 50 seconds, round one. Mearshart needs to retire. He has like 100 fights. Dude, you're the man. You got 100 fights. Just retire, bro. You're a can now, for real. All right. That was our early prelim breakdown. We're going to be bringing you the prelims next. Let's go.